This all went down last month, and my world split in two. I'm still not sure if I'm angry, heartbroken, or just numb. Maybe all three, because last month, I found out my wife, the woman I built a life with, was cheating on me. And not just a one-time thing or some messy emotional affair. No, this was premeditated, ongoing, cruel. We've been married over a decade. We have 2 kids -4 and 6, still little enough to need us for everything, but old enough to say things they shouldn't know are red flags. And that's how it started. They began talking, innocently, about how much fun they were having at Nana and Papa's house, but they were going often 2 or 3 days a week, which didn't make sense. Her parents lived 90 minutes away. That's not a quick visit. That's a whole day affair. And it was happening every week, on the days she wasn't at her part-time job. I asked her about it, calmly. Just curious, right? She got weirdly defensive. Said it was just for the kids and they love their grandparents. But something in her eyes flickered when she said it. She looked down. Her voice was tight. I've known her long enough to spot her lies. She's never been good at them. So I started watching, quietly. Every morning after she left, I noted the mileage on her car, took a picture of the odometer. Every night, I checked it again. By the end of the week, she'd driven nearly 450 miles more than she should have. Do the math, that's 3 round trips to her parents' house. Except I knew she wasn't doing that. That's when the ground beneath me started to crack. Then one day, and I'll never forget this, she left her Gmail password written on a post-it next to the computer. Just sitting there. I don't know if it was arrogance or carelessness, but I saw it, stared at it, and caved. I logged in. What I read made my stomach turn. She'd been emailing her college best friend, long threads, bragging about how she was seeing her high school ex again. Bob. Apparently, they'd reconnected, and she had fallen headfirst into the kind of reckless lust that destroys families. She joked about their quickie rendezvous, about how his wife had let herself go, like that made it all okay. I sat there, rereading every line with this cold, shaking rage crawling through my chest. I printed everything, all of it, put it in a folder. Because I wasn't just going to confront her, I was going to destroy this lie from the inside out. But first, I needed the whole truth. I called a buddy of mine in law enforcement, told him what was going on. He didn't pass judgment, he just gave me the name of a former cop turned private investigator. Ron. Ron was the real deal. Sharp, no drama. I met with him, handed over the emails and timelines. A few days later, he came back with a full report and photos. Every time she said she was taking the kids to her parents. She was, but then she'd meet Bob for lunch. Every time at some crappy diner or parking lot. Then they'd head to a motel just off the interstate. Trashy. Cheap, but that's where she'd spend the next few hours before returning home and hugging our kids like she hadn't just betrayed them. I didn't hesitate. I got a lawyer and started divorce proceedings that day. But I wasn't done. I asked Ron to dig into Bob, who he was, where he lived, what he had to lose. Turns out, quite a lot. Bob was married, 3 kids, VP of sales at a business owned by his father-in-law. He was basically riding on his wife's family's coattails. Job, house, stability, all of it handed to him. So I made a decision. The day my wife was served with divorce papers, at her job, mind you, Ron paid a visit to Bob's wife. Hand-delivered a copy of everything. Photos, emails, motel receipts. The works. What happened next was swift and brutal. Bob's wife cleaned out their accounts, packed up the kids, and left him. Her dad, Bob's boss, fired him on the spot. No severance, no mercy. And since her parents owned the house Bob and his wife lived in, he was evicted within the week. I watched his life unravel from a distance, and I didn't feel a shred of guilt. Then it got uglier. Bob showed up at their old house one night trying to talk things out, apparently. Her brother was there. One thing led to another, and Bob ended up with a shattered nose. Cops got called. Restraining orders followed. There were charges, court dates. From what I can tell, Bob ended up spending a few nights in jail, and now he's a ghost. His LinkedIn is gone, his socials are wiped. Rumor is he left the state, maybe trying to start over somewhere else where no one knows. He blew up to families with his dick and a motel key. As for his ex-wife, she's doing well, took over the family business after her dad retired. I've never spoken to her, but I hope she knows I gave her the truth because she deserved it, just like I did. My ex-wife and I are civil, barely. We talk only about the kids, who they're with, what they need. That's it. There's no venom, but there's nothing else left either. I feel nothing for her now. She's just someone I used to know. But I'll tell you this, last month taught me more about betrayal, patience, and justice than I've learned in my entire life, and I have zero regrets.